Good morning, good evening, and hello, and welcome to this week's live chat on live streaming. I am a little frazzled this morning. I've just realized that I forgot to open something. But what I wanted to talk about today in this stream is how long does a live stream need to be? How long should you go live for? I hear this question a lot. And it's one of those questions, it's like, how long is a piece of string? And so you really have to decide how long you want to go for and plan your content accordingly. Now, I'm looking here and good morning, good evening, Jerry. I'm tuning in to find out if this is a 10-second troll stream. It's not. No, it's not going to be a troll stream. So, yeah, it is definitely, I want to answer your questions as well as couple that I've read here and there. So when it comes to live streaming, one of the problems is if your stream is too short, YouTube doesn't have time to let your audience know that you're going live, especially if you haven't scheduled it. Now, I try to schedule these streams a couple of days in advance, just so people know I'm going to be going live. Now, scheduling or not scheduling, that's a decision that you need to make. I know that there's plenty of people who have tons of success by just going live and not scheduling it. Their audience just allows or just knows to jump in like, oh, they're live, I'm jumping in. But I also personally think that if you have a schedule, so if you know you're going to be going live, say every Monday at 9 a.m, which is what we're trialing here for me in Australia, it's 9 a.m. Monday, then having the plan in place, why not schedule it? You know you're going live, you've got it in your calendar, why not pop a schedule in? Now, if you just want to jump in, I'm at this place, I'm doing this thing, it's amazing, it's fantastic, bye. That can 100% work as well. So there's all of these different things, and it really does come down to what is it you want to give to your audience? What value are you giving to your audience? And if you can do that in 5 to 10 minutes, do it. If you want to take 3 hours or 5 hours or 7 hours, I've seen some really amazing streams go for 6 hours. And every minute of it is solid content. It's not all filler content and fluff. Like, obviously, in that amount of time, if I was to stream for that long, I'd go a little doolally at times and definitely go off topic a little bit. But that's part of the fun of going live. If you want to just down the barrel piece of content, ignore the world around you, record a video. Just checking in, Holly is here. I think your Wednesday live should be 3 hours long. I'll do you now. Do you now? It feels very long already sometimes. Some days I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm taking up everybody's time. And that's the other thing to remember is depending on the value that you're giving, depending on what you want to be doing, then you could do a 3-hour live stream. My 2 hours, they're not 3 hours. My 2-hour live streams on a Wednesday night are for yarn crafters who are quite happy to sit and work on their projects while listening to me natter on about random things. There's no plan. There's no discussion. We've gamified it a little bit at the moment and we're having a lot of fun with that. But you need to decide what you and your audience will enjoy. And that comes down to testing. And I know you just want okay, I need to stream for 39 minutes. That's the sweet spot. Let's do 39 minutes, or let's do an hour and 47. That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. There's no to the minute sweet spot. There's not even a to the hour sweet spot. You have to decide with your audience's help what they would love to see from you. Now, some audiences are like, yeah, man, I can only do with you for like 10 minutes maximum. I'm out. Then your shorter streams are probably the better option for you. If you've got an audience that can handle you blathering on for hours and hours on end, then longer streams could work. I don't recommend blathering. I blather a lot. Those of you that have been here before, you know that. It's not news. Let me just pop this away here. Hide. Good morning or good evening to livestream consultants. Great to see you here. Hello, Freaky Geek. How are you? Tech for Your Needs is here as well. It's great to see you. Amazing Yacht Destinations. Always good to see you as well. Freaky Geek says anything less than 40 minutes is a tease. Well, that is an awesome piece of feedback for streamers. Like knowing that your audience want you there for longer, then that is awesome. That is awesome. Tech for Your Needs says I stream for 1 hour. It works for me. Absolutely. Now, when I'm saying like stream for as long as your audience can bear it, that's I suppose I'm not actually saying that at all, but that's kind of the gist. You've also got to work out what works for you. So I was sort of thinking of it more from a concept of what's the shortest you can go. But the longest as well comes down to two factors is what can you deal with as the streamer. So if you need to stream for a few hours and you need to, you're constantly stepping away or whatever, that can happen. Like I've had streams where I've stepped away like 3 or 4 times and it was totally out of my control, but it was the rarity. It wasn't the every time I stream thing. So in that case, maybe look at your calendar, look at the interruptions, shrink the stream down a little so that it is less interrupted is probably the word I'm looking for, less interrupted, and then go from there. I always tell content creators to do what works for them when it comes to time. And that is true. That is true as well. So for me, I'm in a different time zone than a lot of you. I'm in Australia, so trying to work out a time zone that works for me and for you is a little bit fun. And by fun, I mean not fun. Honestly, it's not always awesome. So like you guys who are here, a lot of you know that I help out in the Nick Nimmin streams on a Saturday morning. Now they start at 11 p.m. my time on a Saturday night. And so, well, actually they're starting at midnight now because the US has had a time zone change. And Nick, even though he lives in Thailand, has made the decision that his audience is mostly in America or mostly can work to a Eastern time zone, like a US Eastern time zone. And so he has made that decision based on his audience, where his audience is at, and the reaction of the viewers. So sometimes streaming can evolve that way. You get to decide, you get to work out, okay, what time zone actually works. So for me, I didn't want to be honestly streaming at midnight because my daughter's bedroom is like 3 meters that way, so like 6 feet. No, what is that? That's not, so 9 feet that way. I can't convert. I don't know. She's really close. Like she could probably talk from her bed and you could hear her. Like that's how close she is. And this is a separate room. And so while it's annoying enough for her that I do it on a Saturday night, that she can hear me bubbling around in here, I don't think she'd like it on another night. So I have to take into account the people around me as well. So when you're deciding what to do, you need to think of your situation, where you're streaming, the audience that you're dealing with, the content that you want to make, and what experience you want your audience to have. And all of these things play into a huge sort of, you've got to make them all balance. It's like, hello, balancing acts. We're so awesome at these spinning plate games, keeping all the plates in the air. Tech for Your Needs says that I stream every Monday. I've trained my subs to that schedule. Yep. Stream for as long as it takes to present the content you want, have a plan, and work the plan. Absolutely. So for me, on these streams, I have a plan for about the first 10 minutes or so. And then I kind of rely on the chat to have a little chat. But that is my plan. My plan is to convey the knowledge of the topic that we've chosen, have a chat with you guys, answer your questions, and go from there. I try to stream for around the hour and a half-ish mark. I don't want to go too much longer than that. I've got other things I have to do on a Monday. So this is the time that I have available that I want to, and I'm addicted to streaming, so I'm like, oh gee, should I stream? Yes is the answer. Yes is the answer. Oh, thank you. It's 10 feet. Okay, cool. Appreciate that. Doug is here. Hello, how are you going? I would imagine finding that sweet spot for length of the live and the time and the day is challenging. it can absolutely be a little challenging because you want to make it convenient for the people that are watching. You want the time that you choose to be a time that they can sit back and give you their eyeballs or their ears or whatever it is that you want to convey. So if it is something like my crafting streams, you don't necessarily have to watch for that. So you can sit back and listen, and just on the screen I have whatever craft I'm working on. So I have a secondary camera shot that comes down over the top, and all that sort of thing. Whereas on this stream, again, it's probably still listen to it. You don't necessarily have to see it. I'm not so much showing how to do things. I'm talking about things. So, this could be something you could listen to while you're walking around or hanging out your washing, or, something like that. Like it could nearly be treated as a podcast as such, like a live podcast. So you need to have a think about what kind of content that you are making. Does your audience need to sit and lean forward? Or is it a sit back and listen kind of situation? And that could help you work out what time of the day and how long to stream for as well. Let me look. I drew up with just 2 feet and you want 10 of them. Yeah, it's a bit like that. It's a bit like that. So, it is working out that sweet spot. It is always going to come down to testing and trialing. So obviously there's going to be streams where you have decided, okay, I'm going to stream for 90 minutes. So you've historically streamed for an hour. Now I'm going to stream for 90 minutes, and you're going to see. And as the streamer, you can actually go back and check your viewer retention. You can see when people are dropping off. You can go back and look at the streams that you've done and work out, okay, most people are hanging around for sort of 35 to 40 minutes of a 1 hour stream. Is it worth me trying to do 90 minutes and seeing how much longer they stay for? It's totally worth having a test. If they're only sticking around for 5 to 10 minutes of that 1 hour stream, you need to have a little look at what kind of content you're doing, how interactive you're making it. Is it worth people jumping in? Is it worth them being there live? I know that there are some live streams that I've seen that I'm like, I could totally watch this on a replay. I don't need to get up at 2 a.m. to watch this, because they don't interact with the chat. So, have a think about what it is that you're putting out, and if the person on the other end, like you, the viewer, feels whether it's worth you being there live. And that's the other thing. Every time you go live, every time you put out a piece of content, you are taking someone's minutes of a day. They have 24 hours in a day, just the same as you. And you are asking for 60 of those minutes, or one of those hours. So 1/24 of their day, you're asking for them to sit and watch your content. Have you made it worth it? Have you given them the value that they need? To quote our good friend Doug Hewson, value first. Good morning, Justin at Primal Video. Great to see you. Hanging out the washing. Are your listeners mostly in the woodwork? Is hanging out washing not a thing? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's an Australian thing. What do you do with your washing when it's wet? Like, do you not hang it out to dry it? I don't know. Anyway, I hang out washing. Well, actually, I don't. I don't do the washing. My husband does the washing. So yeah, but he hangs it out. Absolutely. All right. Now, over here, I am in true beverage goblin form today. I have my survival juice. So I have my coffee. I also have tea. Oops, hello, Coaster. You can come with. And I have water. Because, hydration's important, right? Hydration's important. I use a dryer. Okay. All right. I only use a dryer when it's raining. Well, I have a dryer, but we really only use a dryer when it's raining, because, electricity is really expensive. So, and we have a yard. We do have a yard with a clothesline. So, I mean, that's always a thing as well. Like, your yard may not have a clothesline to hang anything. All right, here we go. Even if they do react, I don't wake up unless it's extremely important. Too old, lol, I'll watch on the replay. And so this is the thing. If you're my audience, Amazing Yacht Destinations, and your content, and I want your eyes on my content, am I streaming at a time that is suitable for you? And how long can I stream for at that suitable time for you? So it is definitely one of these things that you have to think about when you're planning your streams, when you're deciding on how long to go to stream for. So like, I think you're a couple of hours behind me, so it's actually really quite early for you in the morning. So I have to consider, am I going to be doing something that's going to be really brain hard? Oh, I thought I had everything muted. Turns out not. That's funny. So, you know, am I making it worth you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and turn on your computer? I don't know. Am I? Is the question. Good morning, Trish. How are you going? It's great to see you. Many communities here prohibit clothes. Really? Okay, that's new. That's new. We can't hang the wash out here where I am as a wind could carry it to Texas. Okay, good point. Good point. Good point. So, good morning, Luigi. How are you going? So, when we're planning our live streams, we need to consider all of these things. We have to consider our audience. We have to decide, is the content that you're putting out there worth their time? Or is it just so you can go live? So you can, you know, who is the content about? Is it actually about giving value to your audience? Or is it just about something that you want to do? Now, it's not to say that you shouldn't do it if it's something you want to do. Totally do it. But just keep it in mind who you're doing it for. And, you know, I know in these streams, I've had to really have a good, long, hard look at myself and make the decision or the understanding that this is for both of us. I want to do these live streams so I can get back into live streaming on this channel, so I can focus on this channel some more. That is where part of what I want to do is coming from. The other part is that I want you guys here to feel comfortable to live stream. I want you to start doing your live streams. I want you to get out there and share your content and put your voice on YouTube. That is what I want. And if I can answer your questions and help you do that, I will do that. And they're my two pieces of the pie. Now I've had to make the decision time-wise of what works for my family, what works in my calendar, and then choose a spot that could possibly work for the majority of my audience being in the US. So it is, I have to balance all of these things, and you need to sit down and make these decisions. Write down a list of why you want to live stream and be super honest. Because if you're not, you're just lying to yourself and you're not getting good data. So you need to be super honest. Okay. So, 6 a.m. here is my normal wake up time and having coffee. Great way to start the week for me here. That is awesome. I'm glad to hear that I am part of your week starting process. I have to say, I have found for myself, again, selfishly, that having an action to do first thing on a Monday morning, historically, Monday morning 9 a.m. was paperwork, read emails, reply to people, do all that sort of stuff, get all the stuff out of the way that had built up over the weekend. That was my original Monday mornings. Now my Monday morning is hanging out here with you, and I find that the rest of my week is so much more productive. And I don't understand it because I still have to go through and answer all those emails. I'm just doing it later in the day. So it's one of those weird things. Samurai Bros, great to see you in the chat. I think the fastest way to get comfortable on camera is to live stream. I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. I get it, but you can't please every time zone. As you said, you must check the analytics to see what fits your schedule. And yes, it is an absolute balancing act. You have to make the decisions. And you can't always do exactly what your audience wants you to do. And then is it the vocal minority of your audience that are asking for something, or is it actually what the majority of your audience are doing? So even though you may have someone who is very vocal in your chat or someone who is very vocal in the comments, they may actually be the minority. They're just a loud minority. They're the squeaky wheel. You know what, I feel comfortable in your stream in Doug Houston and Nick's, but there are some lives that make me feel like I'm intruding. Yeah, that is definitely really great feedback for me. I'm so glad that you feel comfortable in mine and the boys' streams. That I don't know about the guys, but that's definitely my goal. I want you to feel comfortable here. I want you to feel so comfortable that you are going to sit down and click go live. That's how comfortable I want you to be. The Florida home living is always picking on the Australian accent. Good job. Yes, the data is important. Absolutely. I agree with Justin. The more you live stream, the more comfortable you get with camera. For sure. Let me have a look here. We all social creatures, and streaming first thing in a week for you. Yeah, it is. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. And you've just clicked the like. So thank you. I appreciate that. So how many of you here in the chat have actually gone live before? Because I know some of you are considering it. So I know some of you have and some of you haven't. And I would love to see how many, just write me in the chat if you have live streamed before. And I'm going to have a sip of now I've just realized my fan's blowing right at my coffee. So it's going cold really fast. Not me. Okay, let's go back to the top. Roy, good morning or good evening. My wife and I did a podcast, but we stopped. What advice would you give to get back into it? I would say get back into it. What was the reason that made you stop? Was it something that was a temporary thing and now you're just out of practice and you just need to get back into the swing? Because I totally understand that. On this channel, I was going live every week. Something happened and I'll be honest, I got a few knockbacks for interview guests and it really shattered my confidence a little. Well, a little. It was exploded into small pieces. So having those knockbacks did really affect me. And so I had to work through that and then make the decision that these streams aren't about me. They're about what I can do for you. They're about what I can do for this audience. So I had to sort of suck it up, put on my big girl pants and just go live again. And that very first live stream back here only a few weeks ago was really hard for me. It was really like, am I wasting people's time? I don't know. But what I would do is my first thing is I would have a look back at your older podcasts, pick something that you both enjoyed talking about and have a chat about that again, just with each other, off camera, off recording, make the decision to do it. Sometimes it's as simple as we're going to record this at this day and then re-listen back. And if you've enjoyed it and it's not terrible, like you don't want to put out something that you're not proud of. Putting out something that's less than perfect, 100% agree with. Putting out something that you don't like, that's another, that you have to make that decision yourself. So that would be my advice, is think about why you stopped in the first place. If it was just life got in the way, whatever, you can schedule that. You can 100% schedule around that. If there was an actual physical reason, like your house blew up and you no longer have internet, that can stop things from happening. So you have to look at the reasons why you stopped and go again. So back to the who has streamed. Trish has not. Amazing Yacht Destinations is planning to start streaming on Friday afternoons as my planned contents for people that is still undecided where to go for the weekend on their boats. That is awesome. That's awesome. Luigi has gone live some months ago. Primal Video's been live. Ray Riley has been live. Livestream Consultants has been live. I kind of hope so, honestly. Not you yet. You've been live streaming for more than 4 years. That is awesome. I have zero desire to go do a live, but I love joining yours. That is awesome. I scheduled to go live. That's great. Trish says when my coffee goes cold, I add ice. I just drink it faster. I just drink it faster. Okay, so was it the production that slowed you down? So have a think about where the bottlenecks were. There is no reason, like obviously I haven't seen your live streams. This is my first time seeing your name, Ray. So I really hope your live streams, your podcasts are fun and awesome to make. So maybe have a look at what the bottleneck in the podcast production was. Was it the pre-research? Was it the editing? Was it any additional, like, I don't know if it was a video podcast, so was there any additional video editing? And have a look at what you could create that didn't include maybe one of these things, or downgrade that thing. So is your audio really bad and you spend hours and hours fixing it in post-production, then maybe look at upgrading your mic and having a go from there. There's lots of what? So there's lots of what? That made totally sense. There's lots of things that could slow down a production. So I'd love to know here, what do you think in the production that was your bottleneck? For me, my bottleneck is me. I know it. I'm the bottleneck. I'm the person who ums and ahs over things, writes 14,000 scripts or researches 9,000 videos and then actually makes none of them. Because I like the research. I like all the back end stuff. I'm not a big fan of actually being on camera. It's not my favorite thing. I like live streaming. I don't know why there's a disconnect between live streaming and making a video, but in my brain there is. So yeah, I don't know. Doug saying schedule. Yeah, absolutely schedule it in. Oh, okay, you had a producer and he started charging us outrageous prices. Okay, so what was that producer doing for you? So was he just editing the audio, or was he actually look at the tasks that he did for you? If you need someone to do that for you, maybe you could find somebody else. Or if you don't need someone to do, there's plenty of podcasts that are self-produced out there. Maybe it's a skill you could learn to get those things done. Live stream consultants, what? I love those interviews. I did too. I really did. I felt like I was sort of, getting into it and enjoying it. And then, yeah, it fizzled in my heart. It fizzled after a few emails, and I was just like, okay, cool. And then, I'll just work on something else. Primal Video has got some great advice here for Ray Riley. I love the saying, if it was easy, what would it look like? What makes it hard and heavy? And what would make it light and fun? Absolutely. So with your podcast, what would make it easy? What would make the production side of it easy? So definitely. The problem that I see with live streamers is not having a setup that you can just turn the camera on. Setting up that time can be a mental block. It can absolutely be a mental block for some people. I know for me it is, which is why I built this room out. This is just a bedroom in my house. These walls are stuck up with painter's tape. That's the actual wall is this really hideous pale grey blue on this side and like a... I describe this color as baby poo green, but it's not a conducive workspace. So these are just thin, light little photographic backdrops that I've stuck up with gaff tape and painter's tape, and then I've got some pretty lights. This facing this way, it's just moving blankets covering all, because there's big glass windows here, so just covering all the glass and the corners so the sound doesn't bounce. All these things. But I have a room to do it in. I have a set up space that my family doesn't come into. This is my space. And that is a luxury. Not everybody has that luxury. I was actually talking with my husband because he's actually just recently found out there's a good chance he's going to need to work from home for a couple of months. And he's like, can we do it with us both working from home? And I was like, yeah, totally fine. It's totally cool. It's like there's like a lease issue with his company. Anyway, I don't want to go into it, but they're not going to have an office for a few weeks. So the entire staff are going to have to, find somewhere else to work. And I was like, I can just go out every now and again and just answer emails somewhere else just to have a little bit of a noise break and some buffer time and things like that. And he was like, do you know what you could do? You could go and live stream in a park. And I'm just like, nah. I don't want to live stream in a park. This is my safe place. This is my happy place. And he actually had a brilliant idea, which I've written down and I'm totally going to do, which is a remote live stream. So I'm going to find somewhere, and I'll probably go there a couple of times so that I feel safe and comfortable there, because as we were talking about last week, or the week before, last week was the dumpster fires. the week before where we were talking about building or making somewhere comfortable or safe for you to live stream, and you need to understand your technology, but also being safe in the space that you're in, like the actual physical environment. So I'll go there a couple of times because it'll take me that much to feel safe in that sort of space. So I will need to go and play in some of these places, and then go live remotely. And I'm going to use my mobile phone, a little live mic, and I'll take my iPad for reading comments, because there is no way I can read comments off my phone because I am blindy blindo, like old lady blind. All right. But yeah, so having the space to do it, like, yeah, you know what? I walk in, I talk to the G machine, which I don't want to say because, you know, it's going to do its thing. Bing, bing. Tell it to turn on all the lights, and I walk in, turn on the camera, and I'm ready to go. So I am lucky in that regard, and I understand how lucky I am, and most people don't have that. But having it so that you can set up quickly or easily, or having a plan, or purchasing something that has, you know, the options for being able to just, you know, if you've got a live stream on your laptop and you need to use the webcam of your laptop, have a laptop mount, like a stand, so that you can get your laptop up to a good height, so your camera's facing your face and not at your nose or up your nose or whatever it is. So there's lots and lots of ways to sort of make it so you can set up quicker if you can't have a permanent setup. What do producers do? Now, this is a bit of a broad question. So some producers are sound producers. So they're the guys that will, like, okay, they get all your audio files, they get everything, and then they edit it. They, like, especially for podcasts, they'll edit the audio. They will get it to the exact formats that it needs to go onto, for whether using, like, I can't think of any of the names of the podcasting push out streams, like Sprout. My brain's giving me Sprout, but I don't think it's right. Anyway, one of those, get it into there, make sure it's propagating onto all the different places that podcasts go, making sure that the show notes are written, all that sort of thing. Some producers actually write the scripts. They get the guests. They are there for the actual production of the stream. It depends. It depends on what you need. Does live stream on YouTube only see it, or other people have not subscribed to you yet? Lots of people see my live streams. I don't think everybody in this chat is subscribed to my channel. So if you are not, please consider hitting the subscribe button. We are working towards the goals, as is everybody else. It is a fun task in this time of YouTube not requiring viewers to subscribe to get the content. So yes, anybody who probably enjoys YouTube live education is possibly getting this in their suggested. I'm hoping. I would hope. He gets the kitchen bents while you have the office. Actually, he has an office. We have 2 offices, so he has an office. So he does have space. During COVID, I actually went in and set him up a double monitor setup, put in, so he just comes home, plugs his laptop in, and he says he's actually got a better setup at home than he does at work. So he's got his double monitors, he's got a nice wireless keyboard. I did buy him one of these, the MX keys, because he's a really loud typer and it was driving me insane, so I got him one of those. The biggest issue is, again, proximity. When he's on a call, he uses those dodgy little Microsoft headset thing and he yells. So like not bad yelling, just talking loudly. I suppose I do as well. But anyway, this is yeah, my daughter's gone, yeah, you talk quite loud right now. So this is it's a proximity issue. Ray Riley says, thank you all for the boost. We're going to do a revamp at the beginning of next year. That is awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear it. Yeah, let's see those. No, prefer not. Thank you. Send me to McDonald's. I usually have good Wi-Fi. Yeah, look, any Wi-Fi gets really slowed down when you use a VPN, I'll be honest. And I don't know about US McDonald's, but Aussie McDonald's Wi-Fi is trash panda. It's bad. It is not good. I also don't personally recommend getting on public Wi-Fi. And I definitely do not get on public Wi-Fi if you don't have a VPN. So yeah, Home Rapid Repair, it is great to see you. So good to see you. Primal Videos, waiting to see Florida Home. Oh, yeah. Look, seriously, Russell, when you go live, I'm going to jump in. I don't care what time of the day. I will set an alarm and I will get up and I will watch your first live for sure. Oh, first of the year. Building a second studio just for lives and webinars. Nice. That's nice. Home Rapid Repair says, my 5th weekly live stream in the books and no tech problems. What? Dropping the cam's resolution a touch fixed everything. Sometimes you want the crispy 4K or the 1080p or whatever. You want all these things. But you need to decide what your system can handle, what your internet can handle. Like you guys know, I've been having some problems with StreamYard and packet loss, and I've been dumped out of my Fibrific stream twice in the last couple of weeks, and all of these things happen. They all happen. It's how you deal with it that sort of is telling. So have a be right back screen is really handy. Don't jinx it. Yeah, good point. Good point, Freaky Geek. Trash Panda. Yeah, awesome. I've got lots of these. You may use them all. The Game Widows, great to see you here. Great to see you here. All right, I'm going to have another sip of my drink. I don't have any cool music like Nick does. Actually, I don't have any way to play you the cool music like Nick does. So, have you, just out of curiosity, have you clicked the like button while you're here? Have you made it sparkle? I like that the like button sparkles now. It's my favorite thing, that when you click it, it's like, ring. It makes me happy. The sparkles make me happy. Okay, so we've had a little chat about how long a live stream needs to be. Oh, you hear music? Yeah, there is. I do have, you're right. There is some music that I do have going in the background. I hope it's not too loud. So yeah, it is just, it's just a random song. And I hope it's not terrible. Yeah, it's one of the Creator Mix songs. So, because I'm obsessed with Creator Mix, you guys know that, right? You should know that by now. Oh, it's just the right volume. Oh, that's good, because I just want it to be there just a little for when I'm not talking. It's probably more what it's for. Do I edit the replays? No, I don't. I don't touch my replays. I know that the school of thought is go in, trim the beginning, trim the end, clean it up, and I understand that. I really do. And I see why people do that. But for me, you lose the absolute most important part of why you went live, which is the live chat. So one of the advantages of using something like StreamYard is that you can download a copy of the stream. So if I want to edit something or put something up as a short or something like that, I will do it off that downloaded copy. And I will clean and tighten that. You can always move the live replay into a different playlist. And you can upload your edited, your tight version. So your live might go for an hour and a half. Once you remove all the waffle and, any countdown timers at the start, which I also don't like. Oh, excuse me, sorry. So I've got the hiccups. So, you remove all these countdown timers, you remove the waffle, you remove anything at the end where it's starting to get a bit like tired out or whatever. You may be able to tighten an hour and a half live stream down into like a 40-minute production or even a 30-minute production. By all means, re-upload that. That's a new piece of content. And you can actually title it, SEO it, good thumbnail it, do all the things, and then move your live stream into a live replay playlist. So you can totally do that, and I would recommend you do that, honestly. If you're doing a live stream, especially where you're interviewing and things like that, you could totally turn it into this really tight piece of content. I have no issues with that. But just going into the YouTube editor and trimming the beginning and trimming the end, all that does is removes your live chat, and it does nothing to enhance the experience for anybody. I think it diminishes it. The music is fine. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's right. They do. They do lose the chat. Now, I do know that the other thing is on this channel, because it's a new channel, there's some of the things I can't set to permanent. And I know every now and again I've forgotten. But when you're a new channel, you need to go in. There's no way to, as far as I can tell, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I have to, every time before I go live, I need to go in and click the live chat replay button. So the live chat replay is not there automatically, which is weird. And I don't remember historically having to click that button, but in the last few months I've noticed I've had to click the button, and if I don't, the replay has no chat, which is really frustrating. And I've had a few people DM me like, hey, where's the chat? I'm like, oh my gosh, the best bit is gone. The volume is amazing, just the right ambience, fantastic. How do you create a mix on your live stream? What are the steps? Okay, so you've got lots of ways to do it, but how I'm doing it right now is I've downloaded the Create a Mix track from the Create a Mix website. So go to Create a Mix. You can sign up for your free account over there. I'm just going to remove your comment. There we go. So you can click, there's a link in the description, go and click over, create your free account, choose the tracks that you want, download the track to your computer. Then go into StreamYard, and then in StreamYard under the brand tab, you've got a section called background music, and you can upload music into that. I think you have to have a paid account to be able to do it. I'm not quite sure. And then you can upload it. Now there's a catch. Ready for the catch? The catch is, even no matter what you do, even if you put it on loop, it'll loop the one track over and over and over again. It doesn't play through your list. So because I don't have a fancy audio interface or anything like that, I'm very bare bones here at the moment. I am saving for a Rodecaster Duo. It is on my list. It is the top of my list. Having that at least as an option to do something is better than nothing. Now, I did talk to StreamYard about it. Their solution, which is it a solution? I don't know. Their solution is actually to grab all the music tracks that you want to loop, so say 10 songs or whatever, and edit them all together into one music file. So open up Audacity or Audition or whatever it is, drop in all the tracks, normalize them to make sure that they're all together and the same sort of height, and then upload that one track. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, it is a workaround. Sure, it's a workaround. But yeah. Let me have a look here. I am just going to have a squiz here. Primal Video agrees on something. Agree. Yes. I'm not quite, I'm a bit lost. I'm not sure what you're agreeing with, but cool. Michael Sahovsky, so good to see you. Thank you for my virtual hugs. You're only late when you read replay, or, oh yeah, good point. Hey Bob, how are you going? Good to see you here. Sometimes I find the intros are much too long on lives. I'm going to be really honest and let this be a lesson. If I rock up to, like, say there's a tweet or something that says, hey, I'm going live, and then you go there and there's a 10-minute countdown timer, I'm gone. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit there for 10 minutes and wait. I don't care how good your content is. I'm going to go and do something else, and if I think to come back, I will. But I'm not going to sit there for 10 minutes watching a countdown timer of you bustling around in the background. Like some of them have the little invisible thing, or the little, not invisible, the little visible thing where you can see what's going on in the background. I don't care. I'm gone. The other thing I don't like is, are you ready for it? If someone goes live, say on Instagram is usually where I see it the most, and they go, and you've jumped in and you're watching, and they're like, oh, I'm just going to wait for more people to show up. That for me instantly makes me feel like, oh, my time's not important enough. Okay then, well, I'm going to go and do something else until more people show up. So that is just like the absolute worst thing. You come in, you start. If somebody misses out on the start because they didn't jump in straight away, I'm sorry, that's what a replay is for. Or they can, on YouTube, you can scrub back, you can do it. But if you're going to sit there and actually say the words, When there's obviously eyes, because both on Instagram and on YouTube, you can see when there's someone watching. I'm just double checking that I'm not lying. That you can see when somebody is watching. If the first words out of your mouth are, I'm just going to wait for more people to show up. That to me says that the reason you're live streaming is not to give great advice or help somebody. It's because you want people watching you. So that's my hot take for today. That's my hot take. Please never say that. And if you see me in a stream and go, I'm just going to wait for more people to show up. Unless now I know some of you are going to be like, oh, Chantelle's here. We'll just wait for more people to show up. I can see some of you doing that because you guys are all my people, and I would do that. Let me look here. Yes, you're right. It resets the live chat to off as default. I wonder if YouTube is saying that they have a preference. They probably do have a preference. True says I signed up for Creator Mix, but I didn't download anything. No, see, this is the thing. You don't actually have to download the music on Creator Mix to use it. If you want to use it in your edits, which you're totally allowed to do, you need to download the music. If you want to use it in your live stream and do it the way I've done it, you need to download the music. But there are other ways to use it. So you can totally stream it through Amazon, stream it through Spotify. I highly recommend you have the premium accounts. So pay for Spotify, pay for Amazon, because if the ads play or it jumps to a different track, you'll have issues with copyright. So on the Fiberific live streams, I actually stream it from Amazon Music, and I have Amazon, while I have the Prime account, I noticed that it would play my playlist for a bit and then throw in a random song like, hey, we think you'd like this one. And I'd just be like, oh, don't do that. So I actually bought the premium, set up an actual playlist of just their music, and I just have that playing. And so you've got those options as well. In some chats, good point. I'll remind folks to change top chat to live chat. Absolutely. If you've got a slower moving chat and you definitely want to see the comments in order, make sure that you do have live chat chosen. Top chat gives you what YouTube thinks you want to see. Freaky says, wow, you read all that post. I must have. Yeah, I'm out of practice. Freaky normally trolls me a little bit, but it's quite funny. Let me have a look here. What I like about your stream is that you make everyone welcome and feel at ease. I'm so glad to hear that. That is my #1 goal. I want everyone to feel welcome and everyone to feel comfortable. I do have a third goal. I want everyone to go live. So, yeah. Oh, I hate waiting. Absolutely. Bill Stark, great to see you. The waiting to start for more people always feels a little awkward. I know. Extra crispy. I hear that a lot in the replays. Yeah. That's the thing. If you're going to wait for people to start, you need to be that person who trims off the start, because you don't want the replay people going, well, when does it actually start? Oh my goodness. So yeah, it is definitely a little bit weird. Let's have a look here. I was just going to download one song for a YouTube video. Absolutely. Go and do it. I may have been that person who went through one day when I was a bit quiet and downloaded every song. So, yeah. So I have them all on my computer. That's me. I'm that person. Let me just do that. All right. Hey, Neelo's side. Great to see you. Yeah, Trish, I would check your Prime account, because while I have Prime, it includes Amazon Music. It didn't give me what I needed. It played other tracks, and that was frustrating. So I had to actually go in and get the Amazon Music additionally to Prime. Oh, we're getting a bit slow. My little Peep Peep is when I was waiting for the stream and it started, but it's not the start. They're already half through a sentence. I'd rather watch a countdown and see the real start. Yeah, that's a thing that does actually happen. Is so when I click start here, it does take a couple of seconds for the ingest service to get the stream going. So it does happen. I do try to click start, take a deep breath, and then start talking, so you may miss a word rather than half a sentence. So it depends on the streaming software that you're using. Some are slower than others. Let's have a look here. Where do you get the community guidelines, and where in the live do you post them? I'm not quite 100% certain. So if you're talking about when you see a live chat, then so I'm just going to pause for just 1 second. Cake, I need to tell you something. I will not post a comment publicly that uses something other than standard text. So every one of your comments is being hidden automatically by YouTube, and I will not unhide them. So if you want to chat in the chat, use your standard keyboard, please. Sorry. It's a peeve. That and caps lock. Those two things are a peeve of mine. I have a few. Okay, so the community guidelines, that is something that automatically can pop up when you start live streaming. I'm just trying to think. There is a place to go in and check. I will pop in a thing into the community tab. I'll go and find where you can go and adjust them, because you can add and create and change it up a little bit, be your own. YouTube has a couple that they automatically have that automatically come up into the chat for a first-time streamer into a new live stream. So they automatically do that. Oh, look at that. Oh, what a shame. Alrighty, I'm going to assume someone has shared the stream out. Thank you to whoever that was. Luigi says, I will try Creator Mix and see if it helps out. Creator Mix is awesome. My pet peeve on life is a long countdown followed by a long pre-recorded intro. Yes, I think have one or the other. I got no issues with a pre-recorded intro. I think there is absolutely advantages to having like the little go live pre-stream screen. Those words came out in the right order. Good. I can see how that works. I really can. And it is active and it is moving. It also means things like if you're a one-person production, you can get the tweet out. There's things that you can do after the stream, just after the stream starts, that you can quickly get in and do. If that is more than a minute or two, that's when I get annoyed, because anything that you need to do just straight after a stream start shouldn't take any longer than that. So definitely check that out. Tech for Your Needs has a 1 minute countdown. I used to have a 30-second countdown I used to use for my Fiberific live streams. I have now ditched it because I don't trim my streams and they look weird if you have a replay. Yes, I agree with this as well. Not considerate of the view time. And this is the thing. Every minute that you're sitting here watching my stream is a minute you're not doing or watching something else. So I need to make that minute worth your time, adding the value. Let's have a look here. I decided to use a single intro song with a countdown, the length of the song, no more than 2.5 minutes max is what I settled on. Okay, well, you've obviously tested that with your audience and that is what you go with. I use a 30-second countdown timer for the first time in today's stream. Did you find it useful or not useful? 30 seconds, I think, is a good sweet spot, especially if you're one of those people that don't like that, you know, that little bit at the start cutoff. So if you can get yourself like a 15-second timer or something like that, it may end up like only showing up the last 5 seconds. A 5-second timer, I'm here for. I will stick around for 5 seconds. A 20-second timer, a 30-second timer, I will stick around for all those. You stick on a 10-minute timer, I am out. You stick on a 5-minute timer, and I'll be like, can I make a coffee in that time? And you may miss me again because, like, I'm a shiny thing person. I could go out to make a coffee with every intention to come back and watch. But then while I'm out there, realize, oh, the dishwasher needs emptying. Empty the dishwasher. Oh, I'll just throw this load in the washing. Like, I could end up doing 15 things in the kitchen, come back and your live stream is over. So these are the things you have to consider. In a replay, you can skip the intro and just get to the content. Not sure if that's good for the watch time though. Yeah, if you leave an intro, you have to expect that. and sure, you may miss a minute or two of watch time. Watch time is actually the actual number of minutes a viewer has their eyes on your content. So, or it's not so much eyes, the actual amount of time that the viewer's player is playing your video. So if they put it on double time, you get half the time. So if you've got a 10-minute video that someone's watching at double speed, you get 5 minutes watch time, because that player with your video was open for 5 minutes. If you've got a 30-minute live stream and it's got a 2-minute countdown timer at the start, and somebody watches all the way from the very beginning of the timer to the last minute, you'll get 30 minutes. But if they skip it to that 2-minute point, you'll get 28 minutes. It's a decision that you make. 2 minutes is neither here nor there when it comes to watch time, really, but it is definitely not awesome if you're noticing that every single replay viewer is skipping it. Or you can just lean into it and add the timestamp yourself later. Go, we start at this point, click here for the start of the stream, and lean into it. Yeah, I'm total. It's like, oh, a squirrel. Like, yeah, I know my brain. I know how my brain works. Mostly. There are days where I'm like, really? Okay. I get 2 minutes of view time on a 15-minute video. No way could I have a long intro or I'll get no views. So what you need to be doing, if that's a standard video, you need to be having a look at where people are dropping away. What are you saying? What are you doing? So go in, when you're looking in your video, in each individual video's analytics, you can actually go to the watch time section, and it will actually have this graph that shows the whole thing in the videos there. So you can actually scrub across. And so you'll see as people slow, like that, quite often people have a dip at the first, little bit. And then you can see where people just all of a sudden drop away. You can scrub to that point, see what you've said. If it's not something important, you can actually trim that little bit out of your video and get rid of it in the YouTube editor. So you can tighten things up once you can't add anything, but you can remove. Also remember that if you do add or do anything to the video in the YouTube editor, whether it's blurring or whatever, if someone has made a short from that video, including you, that will go away. Or a clip. Amazing Yacht Design says we're starting to get the slow of the stream again. Agree to the 10 to 30 seconds is good. Play an intro during the time to keep people interested. There we go. I'm just going to set something to here if I can. I don't know if that's recording. Anyway, we will see if that's doing the thing. Let's stop doing it now. It was being naughty. Alright. It's not letting me do anything on my screen. Okay. Let me have a look here. Twitch does stuff. I feel your pain. There we go. I feel your pain. My regular videos, I see the growth, but the live streams are slow city. And look, the reality is sometimes live streams are slow city. It's just how they work. So, they do just go slow, and adjusting to that fact, but also understanding the analytics and the expectations of your analytics are different from live streams versus shorts versus videos on demand. If you've got a 2-hour live stream and you've got 25% retention, that's actually pretty dang good, honestly. If you've got a 5-minute video and it's got a 25% retention, that's less good. So, you have to think of it from like the perspective of the amount of time that you're taking from people. Oops. I've got something on my screen here that won't go away, and it's It's just being naughty. I don't know how to fix it. I'll just keep going. All right. My rule is 1 second or, excuse me, 1 minute or less for the countdown. More than that, I may forget to come back. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Let's have a look here. I'm just reading the scrap. I need pro help, but I'm so broke at the moment. It's not forever. The thing to remember, Trish, is when you pay for help, you're paying for the speed and the one-on-one, right? And that's what you get when you are paying for help. But when you can't afford that help, you need to put sweat equity in. So you need to go and take the time, dig through people's videos, go and find the person or the creator that's teaching what you want. There's so many teachers on YouTube that have videos out there that are free, but you will need to spend the time to go and find it and go and dig it out and source it. Not being able to find pro help, as in one-on-one help or group coaching or anything like that, I understand that you can't afford that. I couldn't afford it for a really long time. And that's where I think of sweat equity, where you actually work hard to build the business without the money behind you. And that's what I did. That's what I built. I built websites. I built my own YouTube channel. I built everything I needed to build using sweat equity because I couldn't afford to pay someone else to do it. So I had to learn how to do it. And that's how this whole journey has started for me, was because I couldn't afford the pro help. So I just went in and dug through and watched Primal Video. So many of their videos have I watched before I could afford to join PVA. And Nick Niman's group, I watched so many of his videos before I could afford to be a channel member over there. You know, like all these things, yeah, sure, they cost money, but you can do it without paying as well. You just may have to take longer to do it. You won't get the direct route. You'll go a bit more circuitous. I'm not sure if that helped or not, but yeah. Let me look. Lives can be a gateway to other products versus an end in themselves. Absolutely, I agree with this. Not everything that you do has to be the final product. It doesn't. You could make a live, be super happy with it. It could have, you know, you go in and edit and trim it down. Then you can put that live that's been edited and trimmed behind a paywall for someone who is looking for the faster track. There's lots of options. You can use your live streams to push people towards group coaching, you know, a product that you're selling. Like there's so many things that you can do in a natural and conversational way without it being like the hard sell. Because I don't know about you, I hate the hard sell. If you haven't given me any value, don't expect me to spend my money with you. Honestly, I want some free value first. So I want that top 5 tips that are actually actionable, and then I might consider going and paying for your thing once I've tried out your tips and did they work. If they don't work and they're trashy, then I'm not going to give you my money. I mean, I work hard for mine. I don't know about you. Good morning, Leanne. Great to see you here. Trish says, absolutely, I've been watching so many videos, coaching and niche, etc. For sure. Hello, so it's great to see you in the chat. I'm having some problems with my computer on this end. It's stuck in a screen. So it's being a bit naughty. Love Nick, PVA sounds good. Look, you know what? I'm a massive fan of PVA. Now they've just closed out their intake. They do a couple of intakes every year. And they've just closed it out for this. I think it's the last one of the year. So keep an eye out on it. But it is one of the, I learned so much. And I'm constantly learning so much. I think it's a fantastic place. Oh, no, Trish, look, I understand the difference between pleading poverty and not having money for this thing, right? Like I've got mortgage payments to pay. I've got a roof over my head. I've got things to do. but I had to choose, you know, I'm paying well, I'm not paying school fees now, my daughter is finished, but last year I was paying school fees, I was paying electricity, mortgage, you know, all the other things. There wasn't spare money or money that my business had generated that I felt comfortable spending on top of. And it's totally, totally different. Totally different. Yeah, so, you know, don't worry about that. I totally get that. I'm going to have another sip of my drink and check the time. Yep, we're going all right. So, yeah, all the payments. You got stuff to pay. Like, and yeah, there's a difference between being, like, broke and covering your bills. You know what I mean? There is. But we won't dig into that anymore. Do you have any more questions about live streaming, YouTube, or how long a live stream needs to be? I will happily answer any of those questions for sure. But yeah, so having all of your ducks in a row, having everything perfect before you do anything, it's not really going to work. You're actually never going to click go live. Sometimes you have to wait and have the dumpster fire and have everything crash and burn for it to work, for you to learn how to deal with these things. I can't tell you how many streams I have done that ended in disaster. So glad for StreamYard. Back in the day before StreamYard existed, when I was streaming, if your stream went down, you had to actually start physically a whole new stream. So you had to somehow let your community know that you've restarted in this other chat. So yeah. Is there a requirement? Hang on. Is there a requirement for the length of a live? The answer is no, there's not. You can live stream for 2 minutes. You can live stream for 30 seconds. YouTube actually now have a feature where if you want a vertical live stream, so if you want to live stream with your phone like this, that'll actually be pushed into the shorts feed as an option. So there is no minimum lengths. It is what is suitable for you, what is suitable for your audience, and sometimes sometimes it's just I'm doing this great thing. It's so much fun. End of life. It doesn't have to be an hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, whatever. It doesn't have to be. StreamYard or what for both live streaming and podcasts? There are so many options. Florida, manufactured home living. I'm partial to StreamYard. I'm used to StreamYard. That's where I'm comfortable. But for live streaming and podcasts, especially if you want to bring in a guest, StreamYard makes it super easy. You've also got things like Restream. I believe that OBS has a guest function now. I've never used it. I can't speak to it. Ecamm has a guest function as long as you're running a Silicon Mac. You've got lots of options for all of these things, and you need to work out whether you're Mac or PC. Or vMix is the PC version. It has an option as well for guest features. It's all of these things you need to sort of decide and work on for yourself. But I would highly recommend one of them. Test them out. A lot of them have a free trial. Test out what works for you. Test out which platform's easy for you to use, which one you prefer to use. The other one, if you want to do a podcast, is Riverside FM. That's another good one. Home Rapid Repair says you're always encouraging. Many others are not. I don't see the point of being discouraging. Honestly, I really don't. I really think that you need to try this stuff out. And if you've got someone's negative voice in the back of your head, it's going to make it harder for you. So why would I make it harder? I want you to live stream. Why would I try to make that harder? The value proposition needs to be there for me to become a paying customer. I agree with you. If I'm going to give someone my money, they've got to have proven themselves to be a proven operator. They need to prove to me that they are doing what they say to do, which I think is really hilarious because I'm like, hey, how's it going? I got a link to buy me a coffee in the description. You could legit buy me a coffee. But on this channel, there's no social proof. So, you know, it does make it hard. It makes it awkward for me to actually suggest people go and check out my you know, website and look at the different things I have over there as well. It's an issue that I have. Like, hey, I perform services for other creators, but, you know, I'm not going to tell you about it because, you know, I've got no social proof. Anyway, let's have a look here. Bubba's Big Adventure says that we're yet to go live. Maybe someday. We're still building up the courage. The only way you're going to get the actual courage to go live is to, like, hit the button, just like, go live, and be like, oh, live, hi, how's it going? Your first live is likely to be terrible, and it's allowed to be terrible. Your first 10 lives can be terrible. You can unlist them. There's no rules that say they have to stay there. You can totally unlist them later, but you're not going to get comfortable with it until you do it. And I'm an artist and can't get the nerve to start. All I have is my phone and my iPad. Maybe a stupid question, but how do you actually start? You can totally go live using your phone and your iPad. I was actually thinking about when I do my video for when I'm out and about, I was going to go live with my phone and have my iPad with me to read the comments. So I would be using my phone for my face and my iPad for my comments. But if you're an artist or a creative, you could totally have your phone pointed at your artwork, or however, like if you've got it, if I don't know what kind of artwork you do. So if you've got painting on an easel, pop your phone up so it's pointed towards the easel. Make sure that you don't sort of block it all the time, but it's practice. And then have your iPad there to read comments and interact with the chat. Again, if you're going live, you need to interact with your chat. That's the big thing. So you can 100% do this with a phone and with an iPad. You can even do it with a phone by itself and then pause every now and again, turn around, have a little look, check to see if there's any comments, and keep going. You can 100% do it. A lovely creator who I think is wonderful, Little Crafty Nook. She is a paper crafter, and she goes live using her phone. She just has her phone and she uses her iPad for comments. So there's always an option to do these things. Yeah, Evie Mux is another one. Absolutely. You can use Melon as well. I would probably stick with some of the sort of bigger ones to start with. They have easier tech help and service and after sales service. Then the other thing is you can always go live directly with YouTube. You don't have to use any of these apps at all. Now, the catch is if you go live directly with YouTube, there are some minimums that actually don't apply when you use a third-party streaming software. So if you're going live from your mobile, you will need to have 50 subscribers if you're using the YouTube Directly app. Whereas if you use, say, StreamYard, you don't have to have the 50. It doesn't matter. You do, no matter what though, you do have to make sure your channel is verified, and you do need to make sure that that you are verified for live streaming. So once you've verified your channel, go in and set up a live stream, knowing that it could take 24 to 48 hours before you're actually able to stream. So if you think one day I'd like to start streaming, go and verify your channel now. Get it all sorted up so that on the day you decide, I've got the courage, I'm going to go live, you can actually go live. You don't go, oh, I have to wait until tomorrow, because tomorrow you may not be feeling it. So get in and get that done. Let's go here. There's no cassowaries here. Just so you know, there's no cassowaries here. They're a little bit further away. Ernesto Esperanza Jr., great to see you. Thank you for joining the stream. Oh, absolutely. You don't want to see my first few live streams. A mess is how you learn. It's how I learned. I had some serious messes. So I did my very first live streams. Let me think. It was 7 or 8 years ago. In Australia, using ADSL. So I had 2 megabits per second upload. Okay, and I needed to work out if I could even do it, because technology, every online creator was like, don't even try if you don't have 10 or 5 or whatever it was. And I didn't have anywhere near the actual, minimums. Turns out I could stream. I just had to make some decisions. No way could I stream at 1080p. It wasn't happening. I was using OBS so I could go in and change my stream bitrate to lower it down to be under what my maximum upload was. So sure, it was a little, you know, drop frames and things like that, but it was doable and it was better than nothing. And then I upgraded the internet here and we got up to 10 megabits per second. It was like, oh my God, I can stream in HD. Because sometimes the problem is not you, sometimes it's the connections in your area. So, do you ever have people not show up to a live? As in guests, I'm assuming, because I have plenty of times where well, actually, that's a good question. Do you mean no guests showed up or there were 0 people watching? Different answers to those questions, but actually not. Well, sort of. You can clarify in the chat. If I did a live stream and something went wrong, I would shut everything down and panic. Okay. And you know what? Sometimes that is what needs to happen. Sometimes that is exactly what you need to do. I'm just going to try something here. I'm trying to grab a screen grab. My StreamYard is playing up and I'm trying to grab a StreamYard of it. Oh, it was recording that whole time, so maybe they got it. So that's cool. That's why my screen was blocked out, because it was actually recording the whole time. That's kind of funny. Let me look here. I think 0 subs would be perfect for a first live. Look, you can totally go live. And just because you've got no subscribers doesn't mean your live stream is going to have 0 views. Because YouTube does share your stream out. Now, if you've got no subscribers and you've historically had no views on your videos, YouTube's really going to struggle to find your audience. So if you're a person who has uploaded a ton of other videos, or not even a ton, but say 5 other videos, and you've had a few views on those, whether that person who viewed it subscribed or not, there's a good chance that if your live stream lines up with that content that they watched and then they came and watched the second video, there's a good chance that YouTube will share that live stream out. So, you know, you've got all of these things that you do need to sort of keep in mind, that just because you don't think it'll get shared out doesn't mean it won't get shared out. Did that make any sense whatsoever? Oh, okay. So yeah, so you're talking about 0 people around. Okay. Yeah, I've done that. Totally. So the trick is not rely on the community for your live stream. Have something prepared to say. Have a discussion topic. If it means your stream runs for 5 or 10 minutes instead of the hour you were hoping for, you've got a solid piece of content. If no one was watching and you've got 0 comments in your stream, you can trim it, because you're not losing the community comments because there were none there. So you can go in and you can trim it down, make it so that you've got a really nice intro at the start or a hook at the start, and pop in your end cards at the end, which I actually always forget to do on my live streams, which I should, I should probably do that. But yeah, it does happen. It can happen. If you've picked a time zone where your viewers aren't available, they're at work, they're at school, whatever, they're not available to watch, you could totally have 0 people in your stream, still make a piece of value laden content, and then people will watch the replay. So that would be my advice there. This is exactly what I do. Just treat live streaming like you're talking to a family member or a friend. That is 100% what I like to do. It is totally my preference. If I stress about who I'm talking to, like there was some names in here earlier that in my heart of hearts I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And one of them's never been to one of my streams before, so I was excited. But you guys are my friends. I'm trying to help you with something that I love and that I want you to love. If I'm all like, this is me and I'm up here and I'm teaching you lowly plebs down here, I wouldn't watch that. Would you watch that? If I didn't make it comfortable and an enjoyable place, would you be here? I wouldn't be. I'd be like, see ya, and bounce. if I was to be brave enough to do lives, I'd not use a hook that's sharp and pointy. Oh gosh. I forget, Freaky, that your comments are not always what they appear to be at first glance. When I didn't have anyone in my live stream, I talked about myself and the channel. Get to know me. Yeah, I mean, you could totally do that, and that could definitely work. But I've found that and I do talk about myself. Like, I'm not gonna, like, oh, I don't do that. Yes, I do. I totally do it. But if I realized that there was no one in the live stream, I would actually I'd try and center myself a little bit, because it is a bit disappointing. You do want or expect or hope that someone's going to be there. And if you're expecting 0 people, secretly you're hoping for someone else to show up, even one person. Which is why I actually recommend having moderators as well, so that you've got at least that one person in there. So when you're looking at your camera, you can think, oh, Leanne's over there, or whoever else who's your mod, they're over there. So having that is super helpful. But I try to make that piece of content like, okay, no one's here, cool, all right, and then do your bit. Have your conversation, have your talking points, have your notepad handy with what you wanted to talk about. Discuss it, talk about it I would probably do it in a more friendlier, looser way than I would do in a pre-recorded video, and then end it off like you're ending off a normal video, and then hit end on the live stream, and then you can go and trim all that bit out at the start where you realize there's no one here, no one's coming, you're here by yourself. Big deep breath and sigh. Trim, begin it where you're like, okay, let's jump into it. So you've got all these things that you can do to get around. Can you moderate yourself? I mean, probably not, no. I'm very bad at self-moderation. But no, you can. I've actually have a second screen open over here. I have 2 monitors. And I have a second screen open with the YouTube live chat, so that I can go in. And I did have to block someone while we were chatting. There was someone who was writing things that YouTube was blocking, so you couldn't see it, but I could see it. And so I hid someone from channel while we were here. So you can self-moderate. It does distract a little. When you don't have a moderator in the room, it does distract a little bit, because I want to protect you. I want to make sure you're not being distracted by rude people in the chat. So, and this is how, I'm probably I'm going mama bear on everybody here, but you guys are my little cubs. I'm just going to whack the microphone. You're all my little cubs, and I need to protect you. And that's how I treat my online communities. I'm here to help you get the absolute best out of whatever it is that you're doing, to not be afraid to try things, and to extend yourself and stretch yourself and try something new. And while you're doing that, I'm going to keep an eye on that chat and make sure there's no one in there naysaying and negative Nancying to make it harder for you. So, that's totally mama bear activity, right? Let's have a look. Yeah, they are always listening. I'm not saying the words, but they are always listening for sure. Luigi says, I got Creator Mix, I got it onto StreamYard and downloaded it, and it went through my laptop. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I have my headphones on, so all my audio is currently going through my headphones, because I don't want to hear it while I'm streaming. So it's pumping out there, and I have it very quietly. So now it is, you can't hear it through my microphone, but I know it's playing. I did check it just at the start, but go from there. Let me look here. I'm going to have a sip of my hot tea. Fingers crossed it's not so hot my face melts off. It's pretty dang hot. Great. Okay. All right. Well, if you have no more questions, I'm going to give you just a little second to add in any final questions for me. So this is our last call. Do I have a last call button for me? I probably could steal the one I use for Doug. There we go. Bam. Last call for questions. So I always wanted to be a seal pup. I love that. I love that a lot. There you go. But yeah, it is definitely, I definitely try to make sure that I have an encouraging and safe environment for you to learn in. So moderating yourself makes it trickier. The tea that I'm currently drinking is from T2, which is an Australian tea company, and it's called Licorice Leg. So it's a licorice root tea, coats my throat, makes it so I can talk for hours and hours on end. Oh, Claire. Welcome to the chat, Claire. Great to see you. Don't really know what to say about that, but I will, yeah. Can you go live and not have comments going? Yeah, you can turn off comments. So when you're setting up your live stream, you can actually disable comments. You can make it so nobody can comment. Absolutely, you can, for sure. I personally like the comments, most of them, except for that one from Claire. That one makes me uncomfortable. But other than that, you know, you can totally turn your comments off. So that is so when you go into your live stream after you've scheduled it, you can go in to edit your live stream. Then on tab on the left, you can go to the second tab. It says customization, and then in there you can choose whether or not you've got your little reactions, your live chat replay, live chat during the chat, so you can toggle those off and on, or check them off and on. They're check marks. Yeah, so the licorice fruit tea, it doesn't taste like licorice, just so you know. I love licorice, but it doesn't taste like licorice. I'm 100% sure it's not the cocktail that I Facebooked the other day, because that cocktail was really good and it's very strong. But why not have comments? Some people find comments really distracting. And if you're planning on repurposing and editing the video anyway, then, I mean, you can have the no comments on. The other thing is, especially if you're beginning to stream and you think that having the empty live chat will be upsetting or distracting, you can actually set it to no comments so that you're not distracted, you're not expecting any comments. So there's lots of reasons why, and it's great that YouTube give us the options to choose what we want to do. Personally, I want the comments. I want all the comments. I want everybody to comment. The other thing is, sometimes, especially if you're like a massive creator, I've seen live streams where that YouTube live comment is moving so fast, it's actually a blur. Even when they have it on slow mode, they could have 1,000 people in there who are all commenting, and it can move so fast that you can't actually read it. There is no advantage to it. That sometimes in those instances, maybe no comments would be better. So I don't know. Yeah. Freaky says that sometimes I've noticed in a live, if you're not subscribed, you can't participate. Yeah, absolutely. That's another option. So when you setting up your live stream again, you can choose if you are a managing moderator of a channel, you can actually make these changes. So if the streamer's like, hey, we should change this to subscriber only, you can actually change it to only subscribers can chat. You can choose the amount of time they've been a subscriber for. So you can make it like if they've been a subscriber for 1 minute or 5 minutes, or, you know, so that they have to actually sit and be part of the content for a bit first. And it does keep the trolls out a bit more. And it also means that you can focus your energy a little bit on those people that have actually gone to the effort to hit that subscribe button. And as I was saying earlier, with YouTube making it so that viewers don't need to subscribe, getting the subscribers is a lot harder than it used to be. Like back when I started, it'd be like, hey, you need to subscribe or you're not going to see this content. Like, I don't even know how you found it, so I'm so glad you did. Now, you watch a live stream from me, and my next video that I put out, YouTube's probably going to recommend it to you if you watch this live stream for any amount of time, whether you subscribed or not. And unfortunately, having that is great for viewers, but when YouTube is still blocking access to features with subscriber numbers, it makes it really, really hard for those people starting new channels or starting brand new. Like, so this is a second channel for me. So I have a monetized channel already. This is my new channel that I'm working through the processes of the current changes of how to build up and get to the monetization levels. So this channel doesn't even reach the fan funding level as yet, which is why I do have the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description, because there's no reason to wait until YouTube deems you, you know, ready for monetization to wait for that. You can start with other things. Let me quickly check here. Hello, Ashley. Great to see you in the chat. Crappy Slappy, thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Jermaine Trevina, there's no limits. There's no limits. That's actually the point. You've popped in, and yeah, there's no time, there's no minimum. Now, there is sort of maximums. You can stream constantly. You can have a live stream running to your channel constantly. Okay, that can totally happen. If you stream for over 12 hours, there will be no replay. So you need to make sure you're streaming for under 12 hours, and I'd make it a good 10 minutes under, because otherwise there's no replay. And if depending on what you're streaming, sometimes that doesn't matter. But if you want that replay available, you have to make sure you're under the 12 hours. Yeah, tech for your needs. Yeah, you can absolutely slow down your chat for sure. There is an option to press slow down. If you have, because what that does, the slowdown actually just means that the individual commenters have to take time between their comments. But if you've got thousands of people watching, it can still fly by on a slow chat. So yeah. Can one change from no cam comments to enable it during a live stream? I don't know. Let me just double check. I am not, actually, I'm not going to check now. I will make a video on it. I will definitely double check that, because I'm just trying to think. You could go in as a managing moderator. You can definitely change it from subscriber level to not subscriber level easily. I'm just not sure about the rest, so I will double check that and I'll let you know. Freaky says YouTube has cracked down on some of the lives. Yeah, they have. They need to be valuable. You're wasting people's time and YouTube's resources. So, but there's still plenty out there, like those, you know, 24-hour lo-fi live streams, and I think Linus Tactics has a 24/7 live stream running. So there's lots of things out there. There's lots of things out there that use the different features. Well, that is excellent. Bubba's Big Adventures. This has actually helped quite a bit. You all are making the thought of going live much more manageable. Excellent. That's the goal. That is the goal. On that note, I'm going to end out this live stream. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who has joined in and who came for the live stream. I want to say a huge thank you to those of you that shared it out, and a doubly huge thank you to those that clicked like, joined into the chat, and also subscribe to the channel. So thanks so much. Keep an eye out. I've got a video dropping this week, so we've got some, you know, cool tools to use. So let's use them. Have an awesome night, day, whatever it is for you, and I'll catch you next week. Bye now. If it will let me end the stream. It will not let me end the stream. There we go.